quick to catch up on these things, but also highly emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Can you discuss the difference between intelligence and then emotional intelligence?
Sure. So intelligence is about information and how you analyze the data, the facts in front of you, or just the different the analytical side of your brain,
right,
and how you leverage that. Emotional intelligence is more of an art than a science, and it's really about understanding the atmospherics, understanding the people, understanding all of the subtle cues, the things that aren't being said, and tuning into all of that so that you can gain a fuller picture of what's happening in any context that you're in. It's about interpersonal skills as much as it is paying attention to everything that's happening around you and those subtle cues.
Wow. So, I mean, we're not just talking, we're talking body language, we're talking the way somebody's talking to you.
Yeah. And also the energy in the room, sort of, is it getting intense? Is it, sort of a bit calm? And how is it shifting? And tuning into all of that.
Wow. So I feel like I had very little emotional intelligence when I was in my 20s. I think I'm doing okay now, but is emotional intelligence something that you're born with, or can you develop it over time?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think some people, of course, as with many talents, have a natural tendency towards them and are more readily trained in them, but everything can be learned. And one of the beautiful things about a place like the CIA is that they train you in the hard and soft skills in both very, very tangible ways, but also in real life ways.
Wow, that is so cool. So based on your experiences, can you talk about some of the things that people with high emotional intelligence do when they're talking to others? Like, number one is not getting intimidated by big names, right?
You got it. Yeah. I mean, so in my role, I was an analyst for most of my career when I wasn't in the field. And some of the things that we had to do was brief presidents, senators, four-star generals, really, really high-level decision makers. And the worst thing you can do is go into a conversation with, for example, the President of the United States and be so spun up and nervous about how important the person is in front of you that you flub your delivery, right? Because we are there doing a service. We are informing, we are providing context, we are providing information and intelligence. And so you have to focus on the delivery instead of, again, all of the hierarchy and all of the noise around the people you are speaking to, and focus just on getting the job done.
Right. Wow. That's such a good point. Yeah. How do you do that, though? I mean, it is hard sometimes when I sit here with someone who's, a big name. I get nervous, but how do you kind of calm that inside?
Thinking a couple of things. First, it's about preparation, because, again, instead of focusing on who is going to be in that room, channeling all of that energy into how you're preparing, how well informed you are about what you are delivering in that moment, the message that you want to share. And also, and this is something that takes a lot of practice, and you will probably have had this as well, when you meet people, when you get experience and you are doing, things that challenge you or scare you, you realize that actually most people are pretty approachable, even if they are celebrities or politicians or someone that you admire. It's just a conversation between two people, and instead of putting them on a pedestal, it's about focusing on, well, what is the value you are bringing to that conversation and to that interaction?
I've been in situations before where you'll also get challenged, and people almost challenge you sometimes to make sure that you know your stuff. So you say to practice and prepare. That's very important.
You said it. And it's also about not shying away from those challenging conversations or those challenging questions, because, again, it's about being very clear about what you do know and being also very, very honest and candid about the things that you don't know. And I think that is another part of emotional intelligence, is not pretending to be someone you're not pretending to have expertise you don't have, especially, for example, in the CIA, when the stakes are so high. We were trained and taught and encouraged and reprimanded if we didn't. If you don't know the answer to something, you say, I don't know, but I will get back to you.
Yes, right. I had this experience my first time in the King 5 bullpen upstairs.